Hi there, Do-It-Yourself Jamie here. Today I'm going to show you how to shorten your jeans into a right length and how to make them look real professional. So first of all, I pin my customers' jeans always myself to make sure that they're the right length, and so I don't have to do them again. So here I have a pair of jeans that I've already pinned previously with the customer on, and what I usually do is I take seam to seam, I put the inside seam and the side seam together, and then I take the other inside seam, put it against the other seam and the side seam there, and then just take a firm grip, and then if you take the back side of the pants and just give a little tug, all the seams come nicely together, and then you'll be able to lay them flat on a table, and therefore you have your inside seam exposed right there. I got my jeans on the table here, and I'm just going to flip this other leg over, and I have this other, the pinned leg, already nicely laid flat. So what I'll do, I'll put the little choke mark onto the pinned edge, and then I can just take my pins away, and now I have determined the length of these pants. Oops. So there, and now I can just measure this inside seam. When I measure inside seam, I take it in the middle of the crotch seam, and you want to make sure you got it nice and flat. So this person's inside seam is 32¼ inch, and there's been about an inch seam. I always do the same kind of a seam back that there used to be, so that's about an inch seam. So I need 2 inches. So I unfortunately have to open up the old seam. Often I get lucky and I just cut the old seam out. Oops. So I don't use this sewing machine for my jeans because I need to make them fast, and these home machines usually aren't as fast as I would like to, but I'm just doing this to show you that you can work with your home machine. This poor old machine has gone through a lot with me. Before we do the hem, I just want to show you a couple of things. When you do a jean hem, you want to have your pressure on a presser foot on the highest point. So usually your pressure dial is somewhere up on above the pressure foot. So find that and turn it to the highest. And when I go over the heavy seams, I usually hand crank it. I don't sew over them with the paddle, because then the needle will bend and will hit the throat plate. So let's see how this hem is going to come along with this machine. So I have my hem here. I start from the inside seam, and I always sew from the inside of the leg. It just makes much more sense that way. So what I do, so now I'm just going to give a little steam to my hem so that it stays nice and straight, and get those choke marks out. Okay, so let's recap. first of all, no peeking while pinning, meaning the person can look down. And second, choose your thread carefully. Try to find as close to the original color as possible. If not, a shade darker will be fine. Stitch length. I didn't mention that while I was sewing. Make sure your stitch length is close to the original stitch length. Pressure on your machine. Make sure you have a little pressure dial on top of your machine, usually on top of your presser foot, and make sure it's turned to the highest. It's a lot of thickness you have to go through, so you need a lot of pressure. Trim your seams inside. Trim them as close to the outside material as you can. And the last thing is, when you go over the heavy place, hand crank, so you don't break your machine or you don't break the needle. And when you hand crank, you feel it, how it's going to go through. And if you follow these steps, your jeans should turn out just fine, and your machine should be good too.